Well, good evening. This is Gina Tudela. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in Poolsbo, Washington. And tonight I'm going to show you the stamp set Frame Scenes. It's in the online store. And starting, I believe it is 23rd to the 25th. Wednesday through Friday, they're offering free shipping on $75 or more. So if you are interested in placing an order with me, if I'm your demonstrator, please contact me. So that way you can take advantage of this free shipping. Also, I want to show you the Everyday Happiness DSP. This is also in the online store. And you get 4 sheets of each type. So here's the front side. And that's the back. It's 12 by 12, so I gotta show bottom part. Okay. It's got like a texture to it. You can see it. And this is one side. And that's the other side. And then here's this side. This is a wild wheat color. The lighting takes a little bit of it. I was trying to get that adjusted so it's not so bright. Maybe that's better. Okay. My camera lighting. And then there's the back side, the plaid. Now what I like about the DSP, on the back side of the packaging, it tells you what colors it goes with. And so the Everyday Happiness goes with Gray Granite, Lost Lagoon, Mossy Meadow, which I'm not pretty sure about that, but anyways, I question that one. Pecan Pie, not really true, unless you're just doing the blue colors or the wild wheat. And then the Pretty Peacock, Very Vanilla. So it gives you a heads up of what colors it goes with. I think my chair is down too far. I feel like I'm sitting too low, but I'm not. I'm still in the camera. But this is a scene, and I'll bring this a little bit closer. And you can color or you don't need to color. So when I color it, I'm only coloring one item in each area. So you don't have to highlight it all. You can use the Stampin' Blends. You can use the colored pencils. And then if you use the regular markers, you need to use StazOn or you need to emboss it. So anyways, so here we go. Hello, Linda. Hello, B. Thank y'all for joining in. So I'm going to use this sentiment. This was when it was offered during celebration. And I'm going to use the word hello. But I'm only going to put that on probably 1 or 2 cards. The rest of them I'll leave blank so that way I can use them for anything. But I just wanted to show that. So let me move those out of the way. So the first thing you're going to need is you're going to need 5 pieces of the basic white. I'm going to make 5 cards. This should take probably no more than 20 to 30 minutes to make 5 cards. The hardest thing is knowing how to cut your paper, what measurements. That's the hardest part. So I'm going to take that away from you so you don't have to fool with them thinking of that. So this is 5.5 by 8.5, and this is the thick white. So we're going to go ahead and fold all 5 in half. And what you want to do is you want to line up the corners, the 2 corners on top and the 2 corners on the bottom. Then you want to press in the center, and you can use a bone folder or you can just use your fingers. So I hope everyone had a wonderful Easter weekend. It was beautiful. It's a little overcasted on Saturday. And then Sunday it started off that way. Then it was sunny and then it got back a little overcasted again. But the sun was in and out all day yesterday. But the climate was comfortable. Just if you were in the shade, you had to have a sweater on or long sleeves. I'll have to read my comments after I finish folding. I had to pay attention. I ain't that great at doing it all. Yeah, I hear you, B. You love mossy meadow paper. But I don't think it would go good with the printed paper, to be honest with you. Okay, there we go. I had to bring my comments down so I could read them. And the paper is beautiful. And it has a texture to it. You really can't tell that in the camera, so. And Taylor and Shayla got me a mic. So hopefully y'all can hear me very well. I haven't checked it. It's on. Just want to make sure. So I'll be able to tell when I go do the, there I go. I can see now the comments. Sounds like you have a cold again. No, I ain't got no cold. But I got a mic on. So maybe I need to take the muffle off. Does that sound better? Because I had the muffle on. No cold. All right. So there's the 5 cards. And then you need five pieces of 4 by 5 1/4. And that's the ones that we're going to mount our DS. Yeah, so I took the muffler off. So I don't need that on. I think you probably have to have it on when you have it up close to you. So anyway, so we're going to mount the DSP. So I brought in, like, you know, there's 6 sides. There's that one, this one. So this one and this one is the front and back. This one, I'm only using that side. And this is the front and back of this one. So we're going to go ahead and mount these to our 5 pieces of the inlays that are measured at 4 by 5 1/4. Now these are measured. You cut the 12 by 12 paper at 5 1/4, and then you turn and cut it at 2 inches. Now keep in mind, look at your paper, because some have it certain directions. So the ones that have direction, a certain direction on it, be sure to have that on top if you're cutting in multiples of 2 or 3 sheets, okay? That's important. Let me get my trusty glue out here, my multi-purpose glue. And then I'm going to go ahead and mount these on here. And I'm going to bring it all the way over. And the good thing, the reason why I like to do it on another layer of paper, it's easier to get it situated. My ladies like that when they come to stamp, because if they go to try to put it on the card and they don't have it straight, then they have to pull it up and they may tear their DSP. So I'm thinking for everybody. So there's the first one. Let's mount this one. And you can put a little bit of glue in the center if you want to, but it's really not necessary. Bring it all the way down. There we go. Bang it on the table. That way I know I have it all the way to the edge. There's that one. And we're going to go ahead and mount this one. And I'll show you the pieces I was questionable about. Pecan pie and mossy meadow and very vanilla. Wasn't quite sure about that because this has got mostly a lot of white in it, so. But to each his own, right? So this one, yes, you could do the mossy meadow and you could do the pecan pie with. It would go great with. But this one, you know, the wild wheat, but I couldn't see, because this is like the granite, but maybe you can put the pecan pie has too much of an orange brown. So that to me didn't look like it would go with this paper. So that's the reason why I chose gray granite, pretty peacock, and Lost Lagoon. And that will be our pieces that we put our focal point on. Okay. Oh, I cut extra pieces. I only need those. I didn't need all that. Okay. And that's what I said. You can make these cards quickly. They don't take that much time. Like I said, the hardest part is when you're having to do the cutting. And like this piece looks like it's a little bit longer. So I'm just going to put it on there. And I'll take my paper snips and just trim that excess off on the back side that I can see. Okay, so there are our 5 pieces. Okay. And these are our card bases. And then we'll move those over the side. So now we're ready to do, and like I said I was going to do, and I cut these out. This is Pretty Peacock. And I'll make 2 hellos. And this is that celebration. You can use any sentiment from any stamp set. I pulled this one out because I have a few people I need to send cards to say hello and see if they received their new book. Did y'all get your new catalogs from your demonstrator or from yourself? I haven't had a real good chance of taking the time to look through it. This, I'm just using the Memento Tuxedo Black Pad. And I usually count to 5. There we go. And I stamped it down below because I'm going to mount it up here. So we're going to put those to our side. And I didn't bring a block in here to mount those other stamps on. So how am I going to do that, right? Put that over there. So there's the images. So we're going to do 1 from each. And this is a red rubber stamp. So I'm going to do the bridge. We have a house in the woods. And that is a lighthouse. A tree house. And then this one is on a winding road. And 2 of these images can be used for Christmas time. And that would be this one and this one. You can use those for Christmas time. And if you live near a sandy shore or a coastline, you can use the lighthouse one too. So, and I noticed earlier I forgot to prime my hello. But I will prime these. And prime means inking up the stamp before you stamp it for the first time. So, count to 5. Now you can really see how nice that is. Very nice image. Okay. Now I gotta peel this off because I forgot to bring the blocks in here for each one of these stamps. So I'm gonna mount them on the case. Okay, but you only need a D block for this. This whole stamp set fits on a D block. I like to state that, especially when we have new crafters. So I'm going to ask a question, and whether you're watching me live or you're going to be watching me in the replay, how long have you been crafting? And crafting is not just making cards. Crafting can be paper crafting, painting, scrapbooking, gift making. I don't know why I stamped that again. I'm talking, that's why, and not paying attention to what I'm doing. Hey, Debbie, how are you, my dear? Thanks for joining in tonight. Okay, there's 5. So there's the bridge. Okay. Let's take this one off. Remember to get up underneath the label when you want to take them off the block. All right. Now these are all vertical. This is a tree house that's got a swing on it. Oh, that's going to be nice. And I didn't tell you the size of the paper. It's 2 1/4 by, I think, 3. And there's the tree house. Let me double check. 3. 2 1/4. 2 1/4 by 3, and you need 5 of those. That's one good thing about these stamps. They all take the same size of paper. Here's the cozy house. And you see how I'm walking the stamp across the pad? Because the stamp is almost wider than the pad. Okay, let's prime this one. Nice. I'll bring this one up a little bit. Count to 5. And there's that one. Okay. I'm doing that so I don't get too much black ink on my hands. Okay. And then here's the lighthouse. Have any of y'all been in the lighthouses that are on this side of the United States? I have not. Except, well, yes, I have. Over there at Point No Point. I have. We kayaked over there. Okay. I'll stamp this one up here because I'm going to use ribbon on these two. Okay. There's the lighthouse. Okay, now I am done with this black pad. I can close that up and move the stamps out of the way. Okay, so this is gray granite. And we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so these are 2 1/2 by 3 1/4. And then you need 5 of the Lost Lagoon. And these are, what did I say this was? The gray granite. Maybe I might give y'all the wrong size. 2 1/2 by 3 1/4. This is 2 3/4 by 3 1/2 of the Lost Lagoon. I want to make sure I don't give y'all the wrong sizes. That would be rude of me. Okay, so we need 5 of those. See how easy this is, that you can make cards in a flash. Oh, good, Debbie. So you've been to quite a few on this side of the United States. All righty. So what we're going to do is go ahead and mount the gray granite onto the Lost Lagoon first with my wet glue. I almost couldn't find it. I found it. Move all this stuff out of my walkway. So we're going to go ahead and add our glue. I should have brought me a new one in here. And I usually kiss. That's what I mean by kiss. Just don't leave it on there long. So that way you get 2 of them glued at the same time. Move this stuff out of my way. And then line it up to the best of your ability. There's one. There's 2. Now I'll do another set. Kiss these 2 together. And they will glue together, so don't leave them together too long. Oh, thank you, Linda. They are. It's a fine line drawn stamp. But like I said, you can color or you don't have to color. That's the cool thing. And you can spotlight too. Okay, there's that one. And now we got this one. Let's make sure I do this real thin, because we're not kissing this one. And the ones I have stamped images on, I will not do that kiss technique, because I don't want them to get stuck together. So now let's go ahead and put the lighthouse down. There we go. There's that one. If you get too much glue, just spread it out. That's what I do with the nozzle when I get too much on there. So that way it's not seeping out to the outside of your card. There we go. There's that one. Now we're doing the tree house. There's that one. And now the bridge. Okay. And then the roadway. Okie dokie. Make sure I get that straight. All right, so we're going to line these up over here. Now we're ready to put these inlays on the cards. Now, before I do that, I want to see which ones I want to mount to where. You're probably saying, yeah, me too. What are we doing? Okay. Wait, I think I got 2 there. I do have 2 there. There's that. And there's that. And there's that. So, the pathway. I think I'll put the vertical on that one. I think I'm going to show that one here. And the bridge here. Treehouse with the flowers. And this one. And this one. I know y'all can't see them all in the picture. So I'll stack them up. And we'll do one at a time. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and mount this one. There's 2 I'm going to use ribbon on. And that's the ones I stamped up a little bit higher. There we go. And you could use an embossing folder if you wanted to. And you can use dimensionals. But I'm not. I'm just going to use the wet glue. Okay, there's that one. The vertical ones are too high. They can't have that saying. So this is one of the ones I'm going to use this wild wheat ribbon on. Just adds a little bit of sunshine. And you don't think you have to tie it around. I'm just going to do it just like this and use some tear tape. Let me get my ribbon scissors. And I need to cut 2 of them. There's one. And since I know they're both the same size, I just go ahead and cut 2 of them. Okay. And then we're going to mount this with tear tape. I got my tear tape real handy here. Just find the right end. Now I'm going to mount it straight across the ribbon, because I don't want the ribbon to bubble up in the front. You don't have to. It's your preference, whatever you prefer. Now remember, you want to rub this real good, and then when you go to peel it off, don't start from the end. Start from the inside to pull it. Because when you try it up here, it just doesn't want to come undone, and it makes you fray your ribbon. There we go, and this just wraps around. Now this one here, because it's got ribbon and it's caused a bumpiness, I will mount it with a tear tape, or I would have used dimensionals. There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and mount that. Let's center it best to my ability there. Now we can add the wet glue on the back of this one. And y'all going to see how nice they look even with no coloring. Oh, don't do that. Drop the card. I went to see what Debbie wrote. She wrote a long message. Okay. That you add to the best of your ability when you're lining up layering. Sometimes first try, sometimes not. Yeah, and I just dropped it with glue and everything. Oh my gosh. Okay, so there's that one. So you see those 2 done. Okay. So remember this one here? I think I'm going to put the big one on first before I put all the other stuff on. Knowing what I just did. Because I got glue over here, and I definitely don't want to get a card stuck to the worksheet here. All right. So now we want to add tear tape. You see how this ribbon? Oh, why it's discolored? Don't know if it's there. Okay, when I do my tear tape. Oh, here it is. Alright, let me go over here. Hopefully it's not on the front side. Looks like it's just on the back side. Looks like I dropped in the ink pad, and I know I didn't. Okay, because there ain't no ink pad open. Remember how I said take it and peel it from here? You see I didn't burnish it enough, so let me burnish it. Take 2 turns and then peel from the inside, not from the edge, and it peels right off. So any of y'all that have been having trouble with that, try not to peel from the outside edge. No, it's on the front too. Okay, there we go. I don't have no ink on my hands, so I don't know where it came from, and I know all this is dry. Unless it's right there. Nope. It's dry too. Have no clue how ribbon ink got on that ribbon. Especially when it's rolled around that spool. There's that side. And then there's this side. I love how tear tape just tears right off. I still got glue on my fingers. That's burnished this one. Yeah, that's what I mean by rub it real good. And you can peel that off. I trimmed my nails last night. I was at seeing my mom yesterday, and she says, "Your nails are so long." I said, "Okay, I'll trim them. I will trim them." Okay, there's that one. Okay. Now, this one here, we want to add a saying. Remember those sayings that we stamped? What to do with them? Oh, here they are. We want to mount this to here. So my suggestion is take a piece of tear tape. Don't do wet glue because it'll seep out on you. So just put it at the very top. We'll do this on both pieces. And you burnish it real good. Now you'll know why I stamped the saying lower versus centering it. There we go. Then we're going to peel that off. Come on. There we go. And then we're just going to bring it over here. And I'm going to go inside where the white is. This frame. That's where I'm lining that up. And then press across. It looks just like that. Then you can go ahead and add your glue. You don't need to go overboard. Just squiggle thinly. And then bring it in. And then this one, I'm going to bring it up, inward, to where I can get an idea where I want it. There it is. Now I'm looking at it. Make sure, and I look here to see if I'm straight. There we go. And there's that. And then we'll go ahead and mount it to this card base. And then center that. Whoops. Before I center that, I saw that paper's a little bit long. Didn't notice that earlier, but noticed it right there. Okay. Caught that. That's what happens when I keep my glasses on. I'm trying to demonstrate. Because, see, I can see up close with no problems. I just can't see far away. Okay, so there's that one. Okay, and let's do this one here. And let me double check the back side. Yeah, we need to trim the top here. Actually, not the top. Side. And the top here. There we go. Alrighty. I'll peel this off. And then this one, I want to center it. Because the image kind of centered too, so. I don't know if I got it straight. Doesn't look straight to me. There we go. Much better. Okay. Now we can go ahead and mount this one on. There we go. And then do this one the same way. So I'm going to bring it up. And I'm going to even the top and the bottom below the hello and the top of the frame. And then line it up. Okay. And then now we can mount it to our card base. And so I'm going to show you these before I add a little bit of color. Just to show you they still look nice without even coloring. Close that glue up. move these scissors out of the way because we're done with those. Okay. So here is this one. And then here's that one. Yeah, I agree, Debbie. And then there's that one. And you see, it looks like it's got ink here. But it could be from the ribbon. It was rolled up. Because that's the second piece I cut. Unless it was the first piece. I don't know how it got ink on it because this one doesn't have it. And then there's the lighthouse. And then there is the treehouse. So just to show you those, and I got to flip this sheet over before I put these cards back down because all the glue is right over here that I dropped that card from. Sorry about the noise there. Okay. Now, where are my Stampin' Blends? Alright. We want to add any color. Now I have to take my glasses off now because I definitely can't color with them on. I want to look for like a gray granite and possibly, I don't want dark smoky slate. I am looking for Bermuda Bay. There we go. That's the only two colors I want. I don't want to use a green because none of the greens are they're all too dark. Or they're too bright. So on this tree house, I am just going to color the door. Okay. And then there is a step, which I'll use the gray granite. And then there's a swing. And I'll highlight that swing. But then there is a window area, and then another window area. So I'm just going to highlight those. That's all I want to color on that, and I'll bring that closer. Then I'm going to use the gray granite for the mat by the door. And then that's it. Now if you wanted to color more than that, you could, but it's not really needed. But if you enjoy coloring, this is one of those ones that's great with the color pencils. Okay, now we're going to go to the lighthouse. The lighthouse now, this is a whole different story. Now, if you have a shimmer pen, which I do, I don't know if I have my Wink of Stella out here, but I have a shimmer pen. Debbie remembers this, I always like to show that spotlight. Just draw a line. 2 lines, and then fill in. And it's like it's spotlighting. And then you do the same thing on the other side. Not hard at all, but it just adds that touch to your card. And I'll bring it back up to the camera where y'all can see this. It really, really sets it off. Okay. So I am going to use the Bermuda Bay and then highlight the top of the dome of the lighthouse. This area here. The railing underneath. Well, not the railing, the support of the railing. Down here, the window sill. And then I'm going to use the gray granite. Like I said, I'm not going to cover all of them. I'm just going to highlight, show y'all a couple of them done. And then I want to take the gray granite, highlight this roof. And then I'm going to go back up here and highlight the railings on both. And then if you wanted to, you could highlight the window areas. But that's it. And those poles. So, to see that, just show you that. And if you wanted to highlight the water, you could, but you would have to use the darker Bermuda Bay, the regular color, the dark Bermuda Bay, not the light. But just to show you that. And these I'm not going to color at all. You don't need to. But if you wanted to, you could. But I just wanted to show you how easy it is to create cards just using a simplistic technique. Lately I've showed a couple techniques where people had to do a little bit more work, but I always like to go back and forth to show the simplicity of creating cards from hand. So I hope y'all enjoyed that. And thank you for joining me tonight. Let me see if I can stretch these out where you can see all images. I don't think I can get all 5 in there because usually I only have, I can do it like this. Move this shimmer pin out of the way and push these up a little bit. There we go. But I'll take the pictures of them and then have them on there as well. But thank you. Have a wonderful week. I'll be back here next Monday at 7 p.m. And take care. Thank you for joining. Be sure to share with your friends. I don't advertise with my business. They know how to get a hold of me, all my customers. So no problem there. Take care.